Hey everyone, it's dataset and welcome back to another exciting tutorial video. In my previous videos, I've been walking through a series on Excel's conditional functions, starting with if, ifs, and nested if, and then moving into count if and count ifs for conditional aggregation. We used if function to generate values in the dataset and count ifs functions to analyze them. If you missed those lessons, check the links below or visit my channel to watch. You can also find the downloadable dataset that we use in the video in the videos. If you've already watched them, drop a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Today, we will continue with another key function, which is the SUMIF and SUMIFS. I've added the dataset link for this lesson and left the previous result blank so you can practice along because nothing beats learning by doing. Are you ready? Let's get started. The SUMIF function works just like COUNTIF, but instead of counting, it sums values based on one condition. And with SUMIF, you can sum based on multiple conditions. Alright, without wasting any time, let's get to work. Like always, we'll be starting with the equal to sign. Then type SUMIF, open parentheses. I'll just double click on the function when it pops up. This brings up the arguments needed for this function. And there are three arguments, which are range, criteria, and the sum range. The range is the column where your criteria results are. The criteria is the condition you want to check. Lastly, the sum range is the column where you have the values you want to sum up. We'll be starting with the range, which is the column where we have our performance status. So we'll move to the employee data sheet. We'll be selecting from the first result cell to the bottom. I used my Ctrl plus Shift plus down arrow on my keyboard to select all the way down. Then I'll move to my summary sheet. I mentioned in my previous video that the sheet name always appears when you're typing a formula and moving from one sheet to another. I like to remove mine, so I'll take that off. Then comma. Then in a double quotation mark, we'll type pass. You want to ensure that the spelling is the same as your range values. The third argument is the sum range. For this tutorial, we'll be summing the sales value. So we'll head over to the employee data sheet and select the data cells range from top to bottom. Using my formula bar on this sheet, I'll close my parentheses and press enter. This gives the sum of the total sales values. Next, I'll be doing the same for the fail condition. Again, we'll start with the equal to sign. SUMIF, open parentheses. Our arguments are range, criteria, and sum range. We'll move to our employee data to select the range, which is the performance status column. We'll select from first result cell to bottom, then comma, back to the summary page. I'll clear that out. Then, in a double quotation mark, I'll type fail, then comma, then our sum range, which is the sales value column in the employee data sheet. We'll select that. Using our formula bar, we'll close the parentheses and press enter. Next, we'll move to the performance rating. We'll check for the excellent criteria. As usual, we'll start our formula with the equal to sign, then type SUMIF, open parentheses. We'll move to the employee data sheet to select our range. Just like I mentioned in the count if tutorial, if your data set is structured like this, that is, continuous and not mixed with other tables, it's perfectly fine to select the full column instead of a specific cell range. It saves time and works great when you have a large data set. I'll do that, then type comma. For my criteria, since my criteria is typed exactly as it is in the employee data sheet, I'll just select the cell where I have excellent here on this sheet rather than typing it as I did with the pass and fail. Then comma, the sum range. I'll move to the employee data sheet and select the whole sales column, then press enter on my keyboard. Since I selected the whole column for the range and the sum range, we can just click on the first result and place our cursor to the bottom right till we see a small plus sign, then drag down. This automatically fill in the result for the rest cells. Please note, this works only because we have selected the entire column. If you selected a specific cell range, like we did for pass and fail example, you will get the wrong result when dragging the formula down because the range isn't locked and will shift. I explained how to lock your cell references in the count if video, so feel free to check it out using the link below if you missed it. I'll do a quick explanation here so you can follow along. For the bonus level, I'll start with the equal to sign, then SUMIF, open parentheses. I'll select the range cells so I can show you how to lock cell references, then comma. I'll select the criteria cell, high bonus, then comma. I'll select the sum range, then close my parentheses, then press enter. When I copy this result and paste in the remaining cells, I get wrong values because rather than selecting from I2 to I151 and from E2 to E151, the second cell picks from I3 to I152 and from E3 to E152. The last cell picks from I5 to I154 and from E5 to E154, which is the wrong cell range. I'll be locking the cell range by typing a $ before the column letter and row number. Doing this keeps the range fixed when we copy the formula. You want to leave your criteria cell unlocked because you want that to change as you copy and paste the formula. Then press enter. I'll copy and paste the current values so we can compare results. Now I'll copy and paste the locked formula to the remaining cells. You can see that the values are different from the unlocked result. Always ensure that your cell ranges are locked when you select specific cell range. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, if your dataset runs all the way down, like this one, you can select the entire column. But if your data is in a small table or mixed between other tables, then please select only the cell range, not the whole column. Now, the last count if, the bonus eligible. We'll start with the equal to sign, then SUMIF, open parentheses. We'll select the whole column for bonus eligible, then comma, then select the criteria cell. You want to ensure that the criteria is the same way it is in the employee data sheet to avoid any errors, then comma, then sum range, then enter. We'll do the same for the last cell quickly. Always ensure the spellings are accurate. For example, if I remove the T, it wouldn't return any value. I'll put that back. Next, we'll move to the SUMIFS function. The SUMIFS allow us to select more than one conditions. We'll get the sum of those with high bonus who were eligible and not eligible, medium bonus with eligible and not eligible, low bonus with eligible and not eligible, and even no bonus with eligible and not eligible. Now we'll start with the equal to sign, then SUMIFS, open parentheses. For this function, the argument is different because we have the option to select more conditions. It's asking us to select the sum range first, then criteria range and criteria 1, 2, and so on, as many as you have. We'll select the sum range. In our employee data sheet, we'll select the whole column. Next is the criteria 1 range. We'll select the range where we have the high bonus, which is the bonus level column. We'll select the whole column. We'll move to select our criteria 1, which is the high bonus cell. Next is my criteria range 2, which is where we have the eligible. We'll select the whole column, then comma, then the criteria, which is the eligible cell, close parentheses, then press enter. I'll repeat the same process. Equal to SUMIFS, sum range, then criteria range 1, criteria 1, then criteria range 2, criteria 2. Don't forget your commas, then close your parentheses, then press enter. Now, if I drag the formula down, we won't return any values. That's because even though we want the first criteria cell to move down as we drag, the second criteria is fixed. It only refers to one cell, so we need to lock that one. So we'll go ahead to lock the eligible cell. Now, we can drag that down. We'll move to the not eligible section. We'll start with the equal to, then SUMIF. We'll select our sum range, then comma. Select criteria 1 range, then comma. Then criteria 1. We'll select the criteria range 2, then criteria 2, which is not eligible. We'll lock the not eligible cell, then close our parentheses, then enter. We'll repeat this one more time for the next cell, then we'll drag the formula down. I'll do some quick formatting to make my table look good and do a quick data validation by getting the sum for each table to ensure that each table returns the same sum value. I'll format that also with the format paint tool. This is how you use your SUMIF and SUMIFS functions. Thank you for staying with me to the end of this tutorial. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any videos. As usual, I'll be seeing you in my next one.